Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are, and welcome to the Highly Illogical podcast. This week, we are talking about uniforms, as you can tell. Although Mage is always wearing his classy, beautiful lower decks uniform down there, but now you got a couple other of us, dolled up today.
I didn't even get the memo. I just couldn't find my Cerritos shirt.
Oh, well, there you go.
Just kidding. I read
Um,
chat.
So as everyone knows, Highly Logical Podcast, we are filling the void when we have no new Trek. I'm joined by a gaggle of Trekkies here. Starting off this way, Zamo, how you doing, my red shirt friend? Glad you're going to be taking all the fire while we're beaming back to the ship.
It's good to be back, and I promise not to bob my head too much today.
We will see.
Pop your head.
Next to him is Ensign Adam.
Hello.
Down below him is the illustrious 2022 Golden Glasses Award winning host of the year, Major Rage. How you doing?
Good evening, folks. Proud to be here as always.
And next to him is Jefferson Big J Kelly, the Picard era badass in the Stashwick jacket.
Thank you. And no, I got this from a website called Kazermart, and it's a 3XL tall. And I've got to tell you, the measurements in China are certainly different in the U.S. because right now, if I do too much of that, like I have to kind of move very slowly. Now I'm working on losing weight; it'll be better. But right now, I have to kind of sit very still, so still that you can't see me.
Like Drax.
Yeah,
Like John Cena.
yeah.
No, John Cena doesn't have to sit still to not be seen.
Right.
Well,
He's
fair
just always, you can't
He's
see
always
him.
invisible. All right, so this week we are talking about uniforms, as I said. So kind of the format of this is we'll start off we're going to start off in the Enterprise era, and we're going to work our way up. If there's any other uniforms you guys want to talk about, any variants of uniforms in said eras, but we don't really have to hit every variant because once we get up towards the Picard era, there's so many different stupid uniforms right around then that if we forget one, tell us in the comments because we are Trekkies, but we are also old men. So, well, except for you, Ensign Adam, you're young and fresh out of the academy.
Me? I'm not. Well, I don't know.
You're an ensign, so either that or you're like McCoy.
Yeah.
That your wife
Late
took
bloomer.
everything in the divorce, and now you're signing up
Including
for
his
Starfleet.
rank.
That sounds more accurate. Yeah.
All right, so I'll start off. I mean, so talking about the Enterprise uniforms, it's actually up there in my top 3 favorite uniforms. I'm not gonna lie. I love how these Enterprise uniforms are kind of a blend between like NASA uniforms and NASA uniforms and like going into TOS-ish era. I really like the fact that it has like zippers and buttons on it and all that other stuff because you didn't really have that TOS onwards or technically Discovery onwards, since Discovery took place after or before TOS. But yeah, I don't know. I really like the uniform. They went back to the original, gold for command, red for engineering and security, and blue for science. And gold also for operations. So I kind of appreciated that too. They did have a pip system, although it was a little bit different. It was more of kind of like a square. I don't know how to describe it. Like a little
rectangular-ish.
Do we have a visual aid we can use?
Huh?
Do we have a visual
Like a
visual aid we
patch.
can pull up?
Oh, I can pull up a visual. Hold on, let me get my pants up. Oh no, wait. Oh, you're talking about
Like on the stream.
Yeah, well,
I pulled it
don't
up
want
over
to fucking
here.
get my magnifying glasses out.
Online because it's available on the game. I got it.
Yeah, the pips on those words
Hello,
like
Best
kind of
Channel.
rectangular-ish.
Yeah, like a patch on their jumpsuit.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Cheeto. I like the kind of the merge of, you see a little bit of the NASA type, like Space Navy kind of thing. I think it fit pretty well with how they did the uniforms. Kind of more of a jumpsuit sort of thing. A little bit less formal looking, had a little more utility out of the uniforms.
While they were, because there are several times where you just see like, Archer reaching for one of his pockets and unzipping it, and I'm like, and I'm just it almost takes me out of the episode, except for the fact that it's just like that makes a lot of sense, like it does.
Yeah.
Like,
The practicality
Makes
of
more
it is a
sense.
beautiful thing. It's just Enterprise is trying to show us an organic evolution from our contemporary space age and programs to what we became familiar with in TOS and moving onwards. And the uniform being a nice blend was just one of those details where aesthetically it fit thematically with what they were trying to do. And the uniforms are on Ent are something that I've always harped about. So
yeah, no, I mean, they go like the opposite, and we'll get into this in a little bit, but they go the opposite direction for Discovery seasons 1 and 2, and even 3, for the parts that and we'll talk more Discovery in a minute, but still, like, yeah, like I really do. And I know that in Discovery, they were trying to blend Enterprise into TOS a little bit more, but they just utterly failed on that one.
those uniforms are more like monster blues.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Very, very much so. I was trying to find a good picture, but we're almost done talking about this one anyway.
I got some words about
It
this
feels
Discovery
more like
once
an
we get to it.
actual uniform, whereas the ones later on are more dressy, more, I don't know. You've got you mentioned he was going for his pocket versus Picard, who's always tucking his shirt down.
Yeah.
Like, because don't they zip up in the back?
Yes. Well,
That
do they
doesn't
zip up
make
in the back, or do they zip up? I mean, I know they eventually became a 2-piece. And no, they zipped up. I thought in the front. Didn't the zipper come up in the front?
It was the front.
Yeah, on season 1 and 2 of TNG. But yeah, those jumpsuits are another one that is not on the good list.
Yeah,
the jumpsuit ones.
These actually look practical.
Yeah, and as I said, that's immensely what I appreciated about those. I was kind of sad that the engineering ones didn't look a little bit more practical. I always thought that the engineering ones should have been like Mariner, like short, the short sleeves and stuff. And I know sometimes, and they can just roll their sleeves up, but it just the engineering ones did not feel. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, covering your exposed skin from like plasma burns and stuff.
Yeah.
Not that a uniform jumpsuit's going to do much good, but beats just raw exposed skin.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to be in engineering with my sleeves rolled up, because knowing my luck, something would get on my arm.
Yeah.
Burn.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. So
I just noticed the patch on the Enterprise uniform.
Yeah, it's like a NASA patch. That's what they went for with the patch. Columbia had the same thing, just obviously it was the NX-02. Columbia.
It looks like people who have went to work in space. They haven't quite achieved fully automated luxury space gay communism yet.
That's the hope.
But they have to actually work. Trip has to, clang on the warp engine with a wrench to get it to go past warp 4.8.
Yeah, right. Since they're beating on it. So, all right. Do you guys have anything else to add about Enterprise?
Yes, I do. Please, if I can get a word in. I thought the uniforms were reasonably comfortable looking. Well, that's probably the only thing I liked about Enterprise the most was those uniforms. I would love to wear one of those. I could probably sleep in one of those. They looked really great, And was it a one piece? I can't remember.
I think they are one piece.
Fantastic.
I think didn't they have knee pads too?
Are they rompers?
Yeah, they're basically big rompers. Yeah.
It's a speed suit, to quote Dr. Venture.
They looked a bit loose enough, a little bit of padding as well. All the other suits since then, at some point they look a little bit tight fitting compared to that one. So if I had to wear any suit for a convention, that would be the one, because it's big enough to fit all my blubber in.
So Zam would be caught dead in an Enterprise uniform.
Yeah, for the sake of my own comfort, last thing I want to do is
too late. We get a picture of it
riding up my ass, with one of those other fucking era uniforms. Oh my god! Imagine any of us trying to put in season 1 of TNG uniform. I mean that would like probably strangle our bodies and
I would lose all circulation in my thighs. It would not be a pretty sight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel bad for them in those ones. All right, time to move on to the great one. Before we do that, Nerdiverse says, as long as Zam shows some leg. No, that's another style of uniform from TNG. Maybe we'll talk about that one.
I'll wear that too, by the way.
I'll wear a matching scant.
Well,
yeah.
Where are you going on the timeline, Jason?
Discovery, season 1.
Oh, right. I thought
I Discovery season 1, season 2, like generically. I'm not. Hold on, I'm going to bring them up. Actually, I looked this one up after we started talking about it. Yeah, I should have brought it up.
So Discovery seemed like, to me, Discovery season 1, its main purpose was, let's make things as different as possible. Let's just completely separate ourselves from Star Trek. Let's have the uniform colors not make sense. Let's have Klingons that we're not familiar with. But now my argument with that, just to diverge just a little bit with the Klingons, I did not mind the look, because we readily accept that humans here on Earth, us, look very different between all the different races. Why can't the Klingons? They're not a homogenous species. So that's my argument there for another day. That I think that was fine.
Just for that argument, actually, my big fix for that would have been, and they kind of killed it. Like they kind of killed this theory. But my big argument before Discovery came out was, what if they are some like ancient nomadic Klingon race that was not a part of the whole eugenics experiments with the original Klingons, and that's why they still retain their Klingon ridges and stuff like that. Like that would have been my thing, is make them some kind of like nomadic Klingon cult or whatever, which they essentially were.
Yeah, makes with the extremist positions and all.
Yeah. So
before we get too far into talking about the Klingons, because we'll be sitting here for a good half hour or plus on that. But
yeah,
with the Discovery uniforms, what I did not like is, I like the blue. Okay, I'm okay with the blue. Explain to me why we didn't have the red and the blue. Why did we have silver and copper?
I never got.
And then we got the yellow, which is fine, but it's like, why would you be so close and then
I think
intentionally
it's gold,
change it?
I think it's gold, silver, and bronze is what I think.
Gold, silver, bronze.
Yeah, and I think they were
a convention. It's never been a convention with uniforms in Star Trek in any iteration. So it's like Jefferson's saying.
And here's kind of what I think they were going for here, and I'm not defending it. I still think it's god awful. But what I think they were doing was, gold is obviously the gold command uniform. Mm-hmm. The silver is supposed to be science or medical, which is the blue looking. Like there's and then bronze is more of the red, which is security and engineering. So the problem is that I could never tell the difference between the gold and the bronze. Like,
how could you? Bridge is too dark.
Yep.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
as well,
here
it's so fucking dark. Mm-hmm. Until you showed me this picture, I had no idea that shit was like that in the first place.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It was silver. Never noticed it.
Yep. So that, I mean, I am not defending it whatsoever. It is a god awful uniform, and I agree with Jefferson that I don't mind the blue, but what this whole like shoulder and then down the side, no, it needed to be something more clear cut towards the top.
It's just the color.
Yeah,
the whole color. I'm okay with the whole uniform. I don't like the color choice of swapping in silver and bronze instead of having the red and the blue.
And making it very clear that it's blue and red.
Yes, it's like, it's one of those annoying things where it was, let's change something just to be edgy. Let's just change it
just
to be changing
something. Yeah.
And that color as well. I can't stand it, man. It looks awful.
They're good sci-fi uniforms, but not good Star Trek uniforms.
Well, I know we're gonna go later on with this, but they do this. They make things uneven for the sake of for somehow that looks futuristic, and they did that with the later Discovery designs where the bottom of the shirt one bit was longer than the other. Like, why? That's killing my OCD right now. You know, like just don't do shit like that. Hate it.
All right. We could probably talk a whole hour here on the TOS or on the Discovery uniforms. Do you guys have anything else to add about those?
Season 1 ones. Are you going to be talking about the other seasons?
I'm gonna look at season 2
chronologically.
I'm gonna talk about the. I want to talk about the season 2 uniforms only because I'm gonna bring them up here. I really like these TOS, this version of the TOS uniforms. I really like the little. Oh, crap! No, I had to tape this on because I took it off for another thing.
I like that blue better than this blue.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
it's a bit rigid though. Nice color, very bright. I like it, but my God, he looks. Look at Pike. I mean, he looks like he can't bend over to save his life wearing that shit.
He's stuffed in there.
That is.
Yeah. If he drops a quarter, he's screwed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like those. I think that they
Archer.
look really slick compared to like the T-shirt, like these, like the T-shirt.
the tunics.
I mean, it looks slick because look at his hair.
Look how brown it is. Like, where's Daddy Silver at? Where's Pike's Peak?
True. Where's Daddy Pike? But I like this picture.
Yeah.
Here's the blue shirt.
And I like the little crossover on the neck there. I thought that was a nice little ad. Go ahead, Jefferson.
Yeah, that part didn't quite bother me. But see, here's the thing. Right now, that episode, this introduction of Pike, this is after the Cage, so it's a couple years after the events of the Cage, and I'm not expecting to see a uniform transition that's closer to what they had in the Cage. I'm totally fine with what they've got here, in that it's like it's the Discovery design, yet there would have been riots if the writers had their say, and they probably would have done the same bullshit silver and bronze and gold thing, but there's just absolutely no way around changing that. But for this, I thought it was great. I like these uniforms. The collar part, it was good, and I like what they did with the ranks on the sleeve, just how they made those look with the bands.
Okay, I'm going to take this down. Anyone else got anything else to say about season 2 while I bring up the next one? If I would have properly prepared, I would have had this all done ahead of time, but I didn't even think
you
about
knew
it.
all week we were doing this.
Had a PowerPoint ready to go.
I know. I would have had a PowerPoint ready, and
come on,
spreadsheets. Sheila loves the spreadsheets.
Do we slip over to the Kelvin timeline real quick, or just Prime Universe?
And that's I don't think any of us were prepared for that question.
Oh no, I'm not going to Kelvin.
Were any Trekkies prepared for the Kelvin timeline?
Not in this discussion. I think
there he is
for a loop there.
There's the Silver Fox.
I mean, there is a Kelvin timeline resemblance with those uniforms, by the way.
There is. I mean, they had
that black undershirt, didn't they, in the Kelvin timeline?
Mm-hmm. This is more of the. Go ahead.
So they look more. They look way more comfortable. I mean, I mean, he doesn't look so rigid. He looks. He just. Yeah, it just looks like something. I would pop on and go down to the shops with.
But it's supposed to be a uniform as well. I mean, I get it. You're not supposed to be you're not supposed to be super uncomfortable.
But they look like they're about to go on the football pitch and play some sports or something. I mean, it's got that sort of vibe about it. It looks very athletic-y. Sorry, like not athletic. But it looks like something you would play sports in, like sport ball.
Okay. Well. So with these ones, I mean, I don't like the V that kind of goes down with the black shirt underneath. I just think that looks, it just looks like they're trying to be trendy.
TOS though.
Yeah, it is closer to TOS. You're right, and that's why I don't like it, because I don't like the TOS uniforms as much.
Fair.
I do like.
It's way more Kelvin than TOS, I think.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Well, but also
yeah.
Kelvin is pretty much TOS, just another universe. But yes, you are correct. I do like Una's though, with the black sides. Like,
The piping, yeah.
yeah. I don't know fashion like Mage does. Mage goes to Fashion Week every year. So
that uniform with Una just, I mean, no wonder Boimler has that pinned up on his wall.
yeah,
It looks
That
nice
full
on her.
picture can get it.
I mean, listen, I have Rebecca Romaine pinned up on my wall. She has to get down every now and then, but I tell her no.
Bring home a date, have to take that poster down real quick.
Well,
anything
who
about
talks
a-
about a poster?
Yeah, who
What are
said
you
anything
doing?
about a poster?
Nothing.
What?
The actual Rebecca Romaine is next
is
to
it
his
a-
Farrah Fawcett poster.
It's a cutout, it's
Oh.
cardboard cutout, life size.
And Bo Derek poster.
This sounds like a bad rabbit hole.
Yes, it is.
It's a
So
bad
it's not
beginning
really-
of a bad horror movie.
Pull us back.
Yeah, well, but I did just want to mention about like the V. I don't like the V-neck on these, and I do like Una's just with the front zip and like the side paneling to it. I don't know what Mage knows what it's called. I don't know what it's called, because he, as I said, he's a fashionista. But yeah, I did like that, but I don't like the like standard V-neck uniforms. Just kind of a yeah. So anyone else have anything else to say about that one?
Nope.
All good.
I'm guessing not. All right, so for all of your viewing pleasure, here we go.
These old scientists, TOS.
Nope, these old Kelvin universe.
God.
So-
Hey, there we
it
go.
works
yeah,
that
you guys were talking. You know what? I forgot how much I dislike these uniforms, and then I saw this, and I really remember how much I hate these uniforms.
Oh,
It's not the uniform
They-
itself; it's the black undershirt. It really overdoes it. Like,
No,
too
it
much.
overdoes it, because if you look at this, all that little, you see that kind of like that little print that it has. Those
Yeah.
are all little Starfleet like deltas.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
I
so
know.
stupid.
It looks like
that's
pajamas.
Cool, though.
It's
It
not
looks like
cool.
I
I'm
like
sleeping.
that.
Looks like flag football vests.
That
Yeah,
too.
this
No.
it looks like something you'd play sports in.
No, that looks like something that Pike would help kids cross a school zone street or something like that. He's got his stop sign up, and he's like with his whistle. Like,
The Kelvin timeline of the first two movies, the 2009 and Into Darkness, of course, were different than Beyond. But these first two movies' uniforms, honestly, they didn't bother me all that much, because I get that they wanted to make them different. I think kind of, and the thing we've got to remember is we're talking movie, so there's going to be a lot more attention to detail. And before I saw the solid ones, I was just thinking, this probably pulls it off a little more, just because all the deltas on there did seem to make it not so bright for the uniforms. I can't think of a better way.
that's why they had to have all the lens flares, because
they.
brighten
No,
things up.
Hey, don't
The
forget
texture.
about the. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say the texture catches a lot of shadow, and
Mhm.
just the pattern does make it look dark. Jesperson's got a good point. It darkens up the palette of it.
Yep.
Real quick, I sent over the dress uniform from Kelvin.
Yeah. God, it looks like Starship Troopers. That picture does, Adam.
That hat is too much on Spock.
I
know he
loved.
looks like, he looks like in Bison. You want to put that one up?
I really
Yeah, I'm
like
going
the formal on campus on base uniform
I totally forgot about those.
in the hat. I
Mhm.
thought that was a very, very good touch right there, because Starfleet is really akin to the Navy, and when you're on base and you're more official, you have to be dressed the part. And what they did here, I thought was really cool. But now, can someone tell me why there's? I just now noticed this. why is there a difference in the delta on Kirk's chest as opposed to
That's true.
Spock's?
From afar, it almost looks like the Avengers.
I was
on
about to
Kirk's.
say.
Yeah.
I was about to say Chris Pine got accepted
He's a
into the
descendant of
Avengers
Tony
Initiative.
Stark.
Well, I mean, his first name is Chris, so of course he's invited to the Avengers. I mean, come on.
He's my favorite Chris.
Who is Pine or
maybe something to do with rank? I don't know. That's the only way I can look at it. But there's no, I can't tell on their shoulders. There is some sort of insignia on Chris Pine's shoulders.
It's probably their rank bars or whatever.
On the shoulders, yeah. It is. It's the rank.
But yeah, you're right. The fact they have different badges.
God, I totally forgot about these uniforms. They're so bad.
They look like live action versions of Thunderbird puppets.
I don't know. Get it out of here. Yeah, and I mean let's not forget the what was it? The black uniform that Pine wore through most of the entirety.
That was the undershirt.
The first one.
Yeah, the first one. I mean, that was
terrible. That was the undershirt, wasn't it?
That wasn't. No, it had a delta on. It wasn't just an undershirt. It was an actual. It was probably just like a unofficial.
Same one. This is what I'm wearing under my jacket.
Yeah, but it was still the shirt that he would wear under his uniform, which everyone would wear.
Mm-hmm.
But it gave him, by removing the uniform shirt and giving him just the black, it makes him stand out, from the rest. So gives him that air of authority, so to speak, as well.
All right. So the next one is the boys right here.
Hey. Classic.
So, classic. I mean, that's what I'm wearing. I mean, I'm still not a huge fan of the TOS era uniforms, even though I'm wearing one, but this is really the only uniform I have.
Well, I got that for your part.
You bought it.
I'm actually with you, Cheeto. When you look at I don't really want to look at it as like tailoring and all of that era, but Jesus Christ, they look so flimsy, and just really shit, the materials and the fitting of it and everything. It doesn't look that great at all, There's no. It should be a bit more regimented in how it fits the person, and it doesn't. Look at Scotty. I mean, he already looks like an old man wearing the way his shirt fits it before he became an old man.
It doesn't look very official.
We have to give them some leeway because it was the first, right?
I'm just saying that regarding was tailoring and designing of clothes back then, was it so poor that this is the result?
I think
it was just the budget.
Yeah, I was just going to say. I think it was a budgetary.
They spent all the money on the ship model. Come on,
it's the '60s. It's the budget. I mean, I think there should be a lot of allowance there just for when this was.
Yeah.
In real life, in time. I mean, someone show me better uniforms in sci-fi from the '60s.
Huh.
That's.
I get where you guys are coming from, but it still looks shit. You know what I mean? You guys it still
think about it this way, though.
Regardless of the era and the budget constraints and all of that, it doesn't look that appealing at all.
If Strange New Worlds is kind of the reimagining, though, and what they would have wanted to do if they had the money, if they had,
of course.
So we're seeing
like a t-shirt.
This is
not
a
just Strange New Worlds. You can say that with the Kelvin, which is supposed to be a replacement of a different timeline to this, but still it's supposed to be the same time but with a different branch, so to speak. So
and these are velour tunics.
Yeah, they're fucking awful.
I mean, as I said, I give a lot of credence to these uniforms only because they were the first. They were the '60s. The budget was terrible. It's kind of as I said, I don't blame. It's not one of my favorite uniforms. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here making excuses saying, "Oh, well, this is one of my favorite." No, it's not. It's one of the lower tier. But I give it a little more. I give it a little more leeway just because of the circumstance of it, being that. So, is it going to be in my favorites ever? No, not really. Strange New Worlds, or I'm sorry, Discovery season 2. TOS era stuff looks way better to me than those. But yeah, I know. I mean, it's to each their own. And I mean, if you think it looks like shit, then yeah, it looks like shit. It does. It looks like t-shirts. What a great uniform, right? So
once again, they look like pajamas.
What about the dress uniforms from that era?
I mean, I can.
You got anything? I need a reminder, actually.
I'm sorry. I like the dress uniforms.
Well, no, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not going to bring up every uniform, but if you guys bring something up, then
if you got something to show me regarding the dress,
if you pull up the TOS era dress uniforms,
are you talking about the actual dress, or are you talking about like the formal uniforms?
The formal.
Okay, I'll say because
it does look a step up from the t-shirts that we were just looking at.
I mean, they're all right. Hold on, I'm bringing them up now.
They're a smidge better, at least.
Oh yeah, I see one. I got one picture.
Yeah,
resolution.
Those are a little more effort, a little better,
a little bit better.
And it was cool that Strange New Worlds redid these for the trial of Una. They had these on.
It does look a bit better.
Yeah,
especially on Spock. It hugs him.
Maybe not something you're landing on a planet for on an away mission, but
Spock's rocking it right now.
If you're going to your court martial, aligned to your supervisors and your admission into Starfleet, I mean, hey, yeah, it's a great uniform.
Is that just a purple person to Kirk's?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he's making eyes at that one lady
with the hippie
outfit.
Probably
imagining an extra breast on her.
I love that meme where Kirk's like he's got the two hands up and then he's got the third hand up.
There was an old GameStop commercial where they did that. So stupid.
All right. So anything else about TOS era uniforms?
Not until we get to the movies.
Well, that's I think what's next is the Monster Maroons, isn't it?
Can we skip the first movie though?
Oh yeah,
everybody wants to skip the first movie, but I've got to cut out, y'all. Thank you for having me. Hope everybody has a great evening.
Bye, Mage.
All right, Mage. Thanks for coming, man.
See ya.
All right, so let's talk. Yeah, let's talk motion picture.
God, I mean that was like a clusterfuck, wasn't it?
I wanted to rewatch the. I wanted to watch the director's cut, but then they took it off of Paramount Plus.
I'm still wanting to watch the director's cut of Superman 2.
I'm trying to find a good picture of all like.
Isn't there? There's a bridge photo, isn't there?
Yeah, I got a picture. I got a picture of the bridge crew here. I'm gonna bring up.
Okay.
The motion picture uniforms were pretty much just all over the place.
Well, here's my thing is that
recycled from Phase 2.
Disco.
But the other thing is like it also kind of seems like a harken back to the pilot and and in the first episodes, because remember their uniforms in the pilot were more the tan and the grayish blue.
I think,
and that was it.
Look at
right?
Scotty. Look at Scotty with that mustache. He looks great.
I know, right?
I don't know. I feel like they're trying to do 2001 Space Odyssey vibes I'm getting from it. If anything, with that 70s flair as well. My God,
wasn't it that the motion picture was a lot of Gene behind it?
Yep,
and not a lot of any other input.
Yeah, Gene was a thorn in their side until unfortunately he passed away. He interfered a lot.
Well, and I mean, look, do I think Gene Roddenberry had this great ideas? No, I seriously think that Gene Roddenberry might have allowed Star Trek V to move forward. Even if he was, some people say, "Oh, this would have never happened if Star Trek V would have never have happened if Gene Roddenberry." I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure Gene Roddenberry would have allowed that to happen. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Also.
But yeah, It just seems like these uniforms are kind of harkening back to like, the pilot episode, the cage, the cage flashback footage where, it's just all those like really pastel, like tan and gray colors, I don't know.
It was a blessing though that this was the only 70s Star Trek movie, because my God, it's honestly like, I'm expecting them to start like go like this and shit like that. You know what I mean? The way they look, and oh my God, like I'm expecting like the moment they go on their bridge, the fucking floor of the bridge is gonna start changing colors and stuff, and you're gonna hear Donna Summers on the fucking loudspeaker. What I mean? It's like,
is it just me? I don't get that vibe from this. Like, is it
really?
just me?
Look at Bones. Oh my God. I mean,
it's the collar. That shirt doesn't need a collar.
Yeah, he's got the polo on, like that.
Polo look doesn't look good.
Look at Uhura as well. She's rocking 70s right there, man.
She's got an afro, but I don't think
the 70s.
And what's the captain's name here? I forget.
Oh, I don't remember his name.
Oh, William something.
Willard Decker.
Yeah, Decker.
Yeah.
Decker's butt chin.
They got that.
I still don't. This doesn't scream 70s to me. I don't. Really? I mean, maybe it's because Sam was born in the 70s. Maybe that's why he sees it. But
mate, I only remember I was born in the 70s, but I remember the 80s. And even if the film was out when I was born, or 2 years after I was born,
some of them look more 70s than others.
This is so 70s.
Very
oh my
70s.
God, this is so 70s.
Even Sulu a little bit.
Yeah, Sulu, Uhura, a little bit on Chekhov, definitely Bones.
Decker, not really.
I love how Spock looks like he has a turtleneck on almost.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably just the shadow of his neck, but still, like it
looks a turtleneck.
It is a turtleneck. Okay. So, all right, let's move on from this nonsense. Okay, let me bring this down.
But they were like long, and they were rounded at the bottom, and weren't they?
Well, they're just getting into into old age after this, so that's why they ended up changing the uniforms.
Let's see those monster maroons.
That's what I'm looking. Trying to get. Hold on, got to delete all this. Monster maroons.
Oh, I like this one.
I have a relationship with these.
Me too. Wouldn't they get too hot at times on certain climates?
Especially in in Strange New Worlds when Pike shows up wearing it.
Yeah.
Now I never really got the whole flap business. Like, oh, I'm off duty.
I mean, it's supposed to basically be like a bib. Like if you're eating while you're in uniform, you can pull that down, or maybe it gives you more ventilation. Maybe if you're like on an away mission and it's hot, or it opens it up and it kind of ventilates the whole uniform. Maybe I don't know.
Futuristic.
I like this image, but there's also the red. So what was the red collar supposed to be?
Oh, Savick had that.
Yes.
The red collar.
Yep.
Look up Lieutenant Savick.
Yep.
Which one from we're calling Kirstie Alley's Lieutenant Savick?
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hell, even Valeris had one.
Yeah, say Valeris has one. I couldn't remember her name, but here we go. Hold on.
Isn't it?
Oh, God, that's a terrible image.
I'm surprised it was nice of them to show in that image what those different colors meant. Shame that they left off the red. This was the thing. I really liked the Monster Maroon uniforms. Really, really liked it. But I'm kind of one of those people that's like, I want to know what department you're in, what you do. And I think that, see, white, gray, red, orange, and yellow. Yeah, there were 5 different colors. I think that was probably a little much. Now it's a lot better than what we had for the motion picture. That was just all over the freaking place. And but again with this, I thought they probably could have. I wish they would have at this point here gone a little. Well, no, I can see why.
Oh, I know what you want. Hold on, keep going. I know what you want.
I'm trying to think how I want to word it. Nah, I can't get the thought to connect.
Well, look, one of the things as a cab driver is that I never wear a blazer because I find it difficult to drive with a blazer on. It's very restrictive. And when I look at those uniforms, I look at some a uniform where if I have to start using my arms in this sort of movement, I'd find it very restrictive because it's some sort of jacket that's kind of holding you back a little bit. And
these would have been nice.
Yeah.
I would have taken these.
Yeah.
I like these. There's the image out there of, isn't it? Is it them in the voyage home?
Yeah, I just pulled that up where it's all of them. Oh no, this is from the Wrath of Khan. Like they've got Savick in gray, Spock in yellow, McCoy in blue.
Which
they look sharp.
I mean, I
think these uniforms look really sharp.
It looks like you'd be boiling hot wearing these, regardless. I'll be like,
well, that's what the flap is for, Zan.
But they're a uniform. These are more. That's what I'm saying.
Do one of these and you're fine.
I'm gonna like pull this down about 5 inches, and all of a sudden I'm gonna cool down.
It's future fabric.
Unless they're under attack, the bridge and the ship is climate controlled.
It looks like too much material for my liking. I can understand the naval aspect of it, though.
Is it the belt?
It was
the belt over the coat, maybe being a bit much.
The belt's also too much as well. Like, I would like my belt to be under my jacket, not around my jacket.
I liked everything about the Monster Maroons.
I do like these uniforms, and you have to admit, either way, they used these from Wrath of Khan through the sixth movie.
They used these. We all know why they use these uniforms. Hey, birds, quiet.
Well,
we all know why they use these, but they use these because they had expanding waistlines, and this was the only way they could hide that shit. Everyone knows it's
William Shatner expanding waistline.
Yeah, but I mean, no, but I agree with you.
That's the case. Everyone knows that's the case, and that's why they had to end up having these things. Anyway,
and Adam, you're wrong. They did not just use those uniforms up through the sixth movie. They used those uniforms up until like just before.
Wasn't in Nemesis? Wasn't Picard like Cadet Picard or Ensign Picard?
Like the Enterprise C crew was in the Monster Maroons.
Enterprise C was in the Monster Maroons minus the turtleneck undershirt.
Yeah, like they used Monster Maroons until I want to say maybe 10 years prior to the Next Generation. Like I want to say we've seen up to about 10 years prior to the Next Generation
in universe, but
yeah,
what we see in
Enterprise
the media,
C was lost in 2344. So we saw some variant of the Monster Maroon up until at least that. Well, but then we saw
when was the Enterprise
Jack
Crusher in it. The Enterprise D was launched in 2364.
Well, they were in the Monster Maroon, but they. Oh, no, sorry, I'm getting my timeline.
So, Cadet Picard was in a Monster Maroon cadet uniform.
No, he was in a cadet uniform.
Yeah, it was in a Monster Maroon cadet uniform. Yeah, in the flashback episode, I can't remember what it's called, the Q episode.
Yeah.
Where
that's right. You've got the captain of the Enterprise B wearing the Monster Maroon.
Yeah, well,
you've got Jack Crusher wearing
it. There were variances, the same way like other uniforms are variances of those ones, like the TOS uniforms and Strange New Worlds and stuff like that. They're all variances, and this became a variance of that. But it did last for a long time. I'll agree with you there.
And as I said, I like it because of the uniformity, but I do agree with Jefferson, like how you want to. Somebody said, I want to know what you're doing, like what your department is. Was that you, Jefferson, who said that? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would have loved the colored Monster Maroons. It would just they're very uniform. They're very, and I get what you're saying, Zam, that they do. They look like they're compensating for older gentlemen like ourselves.
The one they put together for Jack Crusher, if you pull that one up, it's a little more streamlined and different. But it's still very recognizable as the Monster Maroon.
And Wrath of Khan takes place in 2382, either 82 or 83. Pretty sure it's 82. So in canon,
23 or 22?
I'm sorry, 22. Yeah, 2282. So in canon, we've got 2282 until when Jack Crusher died. That was after the Enterprise C.
Yeah.
So let's just say 2352. Let's make it an even number. So those uniforms were used for 18, 92, 02, 12.
I think it was 90
32,
years.
42, 50, 70.
Oh, 70. My bad.
Yes. So in canon, we could say that it was 70 years. Sure, maybe they used them all the way up to a couple of years before the launch of the Galaxy class, but let's just say 70. It's a nice round number.
Yeah.
70 years in those uniforms, it really, and I'll probably say this again, they went crazy once we got into the 90s era and certainly in the Picard era.
Oh yeah, no, I can't wait to get there. There's some stuff I want to talk about.
Yeah,
there.
I got some words for that. But remember the point I made just now, because I'm going to be saying it again. 70 years in the Monster Maroons. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So next up, unless anyone has anything else to say about the Monster Maroons. All right, you know which one's next.
Yep.
Those jumpsuits, and they zip up in the front. Yeah, I feel really bad for these guys.
Oh, and you've got the Wesley Crusher uniform.
It is. You're right. It is season 2 but I mean, season 1 and season 2 are
same ones.
Same ones. But yeah, you're right. It is season 2. Pulaski's in this photo, but yep.
These uniforms gave the actors some pretty good back problems because of how tight they were. They were so tight that you had a hard time even standing up straight. Now, can you imagine being in something that tight that you can't hardly stand in?
No wonder Riker sat in those chairs that way.
Yeah, I had to get a stretch. And another interesting thing as to why we changed department colors from TOS to TNG is during wardrobe tests and makeup tests, they found that gold just didn't look right on Patrick Stewart. So they tried red on him, looked much better. So they had to swap. Then once we get to the 24th century, that red is command instead of gold.
And you know what? I'm okay with it. Like I actually like red. It is a commanding color,
Yes.
So I mean, I don't mind.
Was it ever explained in some form or another why they changed colors? Was that ever explained?
The closest we got was in DS9 Trials and Tribulations, where Cisco pointed out that back then command were gold. There wasn't any reasoning put behind it. Just a matter of fact that it was different.
Well, and I mean, keep in mind everything was red during the Monster Maroon era. You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, it was a perfect time to change it over if they were.
It does actually harken a little bit to the Monster Maroon outfit to a degree. It's like you almost feel like that there's that transition to like the more classic style of uniforms with that Monster Maroon aspect to it. The command uniforms, that is. I mean, that's just my opinion. Maybe nobody else can see that.
No, I mean, with the command colors and stuff like that. I mean, that makes sense.
It's like a very dark, rich red.
It's definitely a different red than the security engineering of TOS era. I agree with you there.
And the other big thing with these ones, the comm badges.
Oh yeah, comm badges changed. So, and they became communicators, so they stopped doing the whole Razor Motorola Vaser flip phone. Trek did it first.
I really like the pips on these ones. That's where we get the pips here.
I like it more when they had the collar. I like it more up on the collar. I always thought that was really slick.
Well, can someone remind me of
like the latest discovery is like right here? I don't like that.
Can someone remind me of why Worf looks like he's just won Mr. Klingon Universe with that fucking sash around his
Well, I mean,
chest.
that's his Klingon sash. I mean, I don't remember what it's exactly called, but I mean,
Baldric.
Yeah,
I think the formal term is Baldric. Well, and they had to change that too because first season he was in red, so that gold Baldric went with it. And apparently, when he switched to yellow, starting in season 2, that silver, I guess, clashed less.
Yeah.
Than the gold. That's a reason why Data, if you want to be super technical, Data should have been in blue, but Brent Spiner's costume makeup test, blue did not look right on him. I think it clashed too much with the eyes, so they had to do something a little more subtle, and they went ahead and put him in the gold as well.
Well, wait a minute. I don't know why you would put him in. He's operations, right? So operations is still, gold.
Well, you're right. But the declaration of him being chief of operations was not made until, I mean, it was certainly after the fact. I don't recall when, but that in the beginning, that was not the reason that he was in.
No, I mean
the gold.
Yeah, I mean, I would believe real life reasons, but
I thought he was a pilot when it first started.
No, actually, Geordi was when it started. Geordi was actually the con navigator, because he was always sitting in the when they told him to go. I mean, LaForge was the one who was sitting up on the bridge normally doing that until he became chief engineer. Right. Which is a pretty big promotion because he was lieutenant junior grade, and then he went to lieutenant commander in one season.
He went from lieutenant junior grade to lieutenant.
Did he? I swear he went from. I thought he was lieutenant commander.
He became lieutenant commander at some point in there, but I don't recall that they did anything special about that. I think it was just like one episode. Suddenly he's promoted. I don't recall an official.
Poor Harry Kim.
O'Brien was
don't start.
O'Brien was a pilot as well, wasn't he?
Everyone forgets that he was in the alternate, like the ending for Voyager. He was captain.
Well, of course, because it didn't matter.
But then Voyager Janeway fucked the timeline.
Yeah, right. That's what she likes.
And by the way, you made me remind myself that that Geordie's daughter did actually kind of follow in her father's footsteps. She just decided to remain as a pilot, whilst Geordie himself decided to become an engineer.
Yeah, I actually just recently watched, because I just got the Picard complete season. It went on sale on Amazon, so I bought it. And I cannot see LaForge getting that upset with his daughter about becoming a pilot rather than an engineer. I feel like Geordi would want her to follow whatever her dream was,
And he was a pilot too, and he's got 2 daughters, and one of them ended up being an engineer anyway. So what the fuck?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna exit this out. I don't know what I did wrong here. Okay. Let me bring up the next one, which we know what it is, of course. There we go. There's the money shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got rid of that little line in the black part on top.
Mm-hmm. And plus, it's 2-piece instead of a jumpsuit.
Mm-hmm.
So it was at some point in season 3 that Geordi became lieutenant commander, because you can see 3 pips on him, and in season 2 he was certainly just lieutenant. So I think that was some kind of quiet off-screen promotion, so he didn't get a moment to shine, unfortunately.
Look how better Worf looks as well. Like, if you look at the picture of him in season 2, he looks like chalk and cheese. He looks very, very regal. Like in this picture,
I think they changed the color of the gold too. I think they brightened the gold a little bit. It's not as dark, and it felt just very. In the last picture, it just felt very like a dirty gold. Like dark gold. It was very
but by the way, Worf he does get rid of that sash at one point, doesn't he? I'm not sure if he wears it throughout.
Never does.
Nope.
Never. Okay.
Always has it.
Yep. Even when he went to DS9, he still had it, and so. And he's taken it off before, but
like when he's off duty and he's gonna, change his clothes or whatever. But yeah, he has had the sash from season 1 up to Picard, so he's always had it.
Yeah,
fair enough.
So there's not really much to say about this. I do. This is kind of more of a harken back to the Monster Maroons, as in it's a little bit more sturdy looking, a little bit more formal looking. We all know the dress uniforms. I'm not going to bring those up, but they're just this, but like longer. Like they're an actual dress, but they wear pants. Which what?
No, go keep going.
Oh. But yeah, I still was always I was always kind of mad that Deanna Troi always had to be in that, and we get it. It's the Berman era.
She had to get tits after the lads. But I'm liking Guinan's outfit, by the way. But I always thought maybe she should have worn a uniform too.
No, she was a civilian.
Yeah, she's a bartender, civilian.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I always felt that she was a bit like an alternative version to Deanna Troi, but she had that ship counselor vibe about her as well.
But the bartender is going to serve you a drink and give you life advice.
Yeah, but she's she's like, she's a couple of thousand years old as well. She's knowledge personified.
Yeah, but they didn't know that when it first started. That kind of developed. That kind of developed over time. And because when originally they started talking to her in season 2. Did they know that she was thousands of years old, or did that come to light?
Hundreds.
No idea.
No, it wasn't thousands.
Or hundreds. Sorry.
Okay.
Maybe a couple hundred.
Because in Generations she mentions that.
No,
and she was alive back in.
No. She's more than a couple of 100 years old. She met Picard during the Wild West and shit.
Yeah.
She's old.
In the 1800s.
Yeah, time era.
19s, 20s.
Yeah, so
a few hundred easy.
Easily 500 years old, I would say.
Yeah.
But it also Whoopi Goldberg giving her credit. She was like one of the first actresses to transition from movies to television. But usually television was was a way to get into films. She wanted to get back into TV because she loved Star Trek so much.
I kind of wish she would have been more than a bartender. I liked her role, but she basically Whoopi Goldberg got into it because she was inspired by Nichelle Nichols, and Uhura. So I kind of wish we would have had Whoopi Goldberg as more of a as a presence on the bridge more so than.
She's a movie actress
I know.
Did go to a TV show.
Yeah, so she was more expensive, and as I said, practical reasons I understand. I just saying
she was still doing movies.
Yeah,
when they meet the Borg and she's like doing this with Q, she really shines right there.
Mm-hmm.
She gets more time.
That's the best.
And they went nowhere with it after that, but oh well.
I don't know. Picard, they did when they kind of went somewhere.
They had young Guinan and Whoopi came back.
Yep,
and also look at young Will Wheaton there as Wesley.
Oh, he looks so sharp right there.
Mm-hmm.
He's boy's becoming a man now. Pretty cool.
Just a quick tidbit: did you guys know that Will Wheaton is a little bit older now at this point now than Patrick Stewart was when he started playing Captain Picard? Will Wheaton is now older than Patrick Stewart was. Isn't that crazy?
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right now, I am 1 year younger than Patrick Stewart was when he started TNG. Stewart started TNG when he was 47. I'm 46. Yeah. Patrick Stewart was 47 at the time. And what's funny? There's this thing online that showed it's all kinds of different news stories on different things at msnbc.com. They had this thing where it was photos of Patrick Stewart throughout his his years, his career. Every damn one of those, he had the gray around the head. I don't think I have ever I've seen one picture of Patrick Stewart with hair. And he was playing some kind of Roman soldier on some show or play or something.
But
wig.
It was the
test
I don't
photo
know. I don't know if it was
where Gene Roddenberry forced him to wear a wig. Can you pull?
He looked awful.
Yeah, hold on.
He
Yeah,
looks so unamused in that wig. Like,
so it's funny that he's always looked old.
Yeah, I remember like when one of the earliest films I saw him in was in Excalibur and Dune. Those two movies are set in the early 80s. One was a medieval film, one was a futuristic sci-fi. And yeah,
He looked the same.
He looked the same. Yeah,
All right, let me
he was
get
playing
this.
it's funny, but his character was different though because he's a bit of a pacifist, so to speak, in TNG, but in Dune and Excalibur, he was a fighter.
Well, that doesn't count.
he looks so
That looks
mad.
awful.
That's a flashback, and that's a wig.
He looks so
That is
mad.
so bad.
No, this is the picture. This is the picture that Adam was talking about. Where it's like he has the wig on. This is a wig, and like he's just not amused with it at all. I think this is the wig he had to wear, isn't it? That's the wig he had to wear.
Gene wanted him to try it at least.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want a bald.
It's crazy
cap.
that he got cast at all. If you think about it, if they were that desperate for an actor to have hair, then why the fuck did they cast him? And then like and then they make this Frenchman with an English accent as well. Like, what the fuck? It's,
it's the future, Sam.
At least they explained that. They explained that. It took them like 30, 40 years to explain it, but they finally explained it in Picard season 2. But still, that was awful.
I don't remember how they explained that.
No, they mentioned it the Picards during World War II. They fled to the United Kingdom.
Oh, so that's how they got English.
So Jack Crusher, Wesley's dad, was killed in an away mission in 2353, and in that flashback scene, you're showing Picard was with Beverly to take her to see her husband's body, and he's in the what we see is the season 1 TNG uniform. So, but Jack Crusher did a recording to Wesley. He's in the Monster Maroon. So I would think that the transition from Monster Maroon to the TNG season 1 uniform had to be like around 2350 something.
Yeah.
So we still saying 70? I can't remember what you said originally. So
right
around
70.
70.
We were still saying 70. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So the next one, which unless you guys have something else to say about the, I'm not going into the movies yet because that's going to kind of. It's because we have a little bit of overlap here. I'm going to do this in like a specific
they
order.
changed the color scheme, don't they? Like the red is mainly on the body, and then the black's on the shoulders, and then they flip it over. And then this is what they did. DS9 now they put the red on the shoulders.
Well, and there were.
I do like. I like the slit.
Yeah, and they did. There was a explanation for that, is because I think it's like they were a station crew.
Yeah.
So that's why they were in those, because there was a lot of crossover. Because whenever TNG would cross over, or even I think even Voyager didn't. Like Voyager always had the shoulder colors too. Mm-hmm. So like even before they left space dock.
There was during the time of DS9, you had these uniforms. They were on a station. Why they had them on Voyager, I don't know. I know in universe is because they wanted to wear the new uniforms, but for Voyager, maybe because it was going to be going on a deep space mission or something. I don't recall what that was, but in I want to say it was what season it was a 2-part episode, I believe, where Odo and Cisco went to Earth investigating the changeling infiltration of Starfleet.
That's season 3.
That's season 3.
I think it's season 3, maybe season 4, but I'm pretty sure that's season 3.
So, is this season 1, by the way? What we're looking at now?
It's season 1. So, in that, Cisco actually changed into the TNG style uniform when he was there.
And in the first episode of DS9, he was in the TNG uniform when he went and met with Picard and everything. He didn't change until he got to the station.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying that it did signify that there was an in-universe difference between this uniform and the TNG ones because he changed uniforms when he went to Starfleet.
Mm-hmm.
And that had to be no later than the third season. You're right, because by the time we got to the fourth, they were in the First Contact uniforms.
Yeah. I think midway through, it was in the middle of a season, but I want to say you're right. It was the middle of season 4.
So
episode 9 or 10 or something.
In Generations, they were walking around in a mix of the.
Well, the end.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. The practical reason was because they were sharing uniforms. Like Riker was wearing Cisco's uniform. Like I know they said that specifically, that Jonathan Frakes had to have the Cisco's uniform kind of makeshift tailored for him. That's why he's
in the movie film budget, and they telling me they couldn't get the fucking uniform.
Oh man, they made Generations work on a TV budget, man. They
pretty much. They did have uniforms, like movie style uniforms for Generations. If you look back, there is that scene in Generations where Geordi is being interrogated by Soren. If you look real close, Geordi is actually in what would have been the Generations uniform, like the movie uniform. And if you guys collected any of the Playmates action figures in the 90s, the Playmates figures for Generations all had what were going to be the movie uniforms. But what happened was, it was after the production run of the toys that they scrapped the uniforms. I don't remember why they scrapped the uniforms.
I think it's because they cut the budget. I really do. If I remember correctly, there was like 3 budget cuts in that movie.
Bloody hell. Yeah, even down to the fucking Klingon ship exploding.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, that movie screams budget cuts.
Yeah,
that was just shameful.
It was.
It was the prior movie. That's shameful.
Yeah, like they didn't even give us any space between it. You know what I mean? Like, it's
no space between.
Yep. So, I like these uniforms. I'm not going to say that they are anything spectacular.
The Bajoran ones are spectacular.
The Bajoran ones are nice. We're not here talking about Bajoran uniforms, Mr.
Uniform.
No, but that's why the video says Starfleet uniform.
What about in the first scene of Generations where they're on the original wooden ship Enterprise and those uniforms?
The original, in Generations on the original wooden
holiday.
No, we're not looking at it. Get out of here. Okay, we're not doing every single freaking uniform already an hour in. And then, I mean, we can talk about Voyager since we're here with these uniforms anyway, because they're the same before we transition into First Contact uniforms.
Yeah, Voyager being the only, I mean, no, I wouldn't say the only show, but like the only 7-season show where they wore the same uniform throughout.
Well, and the reason why that probably... Well, the reason why that probably was because in universe it was a waste of resources for them to re-replicate all the uniforms just to match what was going on in Alpha Quadrant, and B, I mean, because they were having to share uniforms a lot between the two shows and it got bothersome. So once First Contact was filmed, they just gave all those uniforms over to Deep Space Nine and said, now you don't have to share anymore. And so that's why DS9 got the gray ones. And then Voyager just kept the regular ones.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, it makes sense in uniform. And like, it would have been weird if like DS9 never changed and then like Voyager did. But like, no, I think they did it the right way. It
would make no sense for Voyager to change their uniforms.
Yeah, they did it right.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's move over to.
And for Voyager, there was no reason. It was like, fuck it, we're not changing uniforms. Why? What's the point?
Don't forget, in Voyager, we did get to see the flashback with Tuvok in the Monster Maroon.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We did. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Monster Maroon,
that's
baby.
a great episode.
Yeah, that was most.
You just like it because George Takei's in it.
That wasn't too. He was. That was Tim Russ playing a human in that movie.
No, that was no.
He was a human in Generations.
He was a human in Generations on the Enterprise B.
But that was somebody different. And there was a Voyager episode. The name of the episode's on the tip of my tongue, but we retconned retro that Tuvok served on the Excelsior in his early years in Starfleet.
Mm-hmm. He brought Sulu some tea.
Yes. Yeah, apparently, yeah, he was the one that brought him the tea that you see in the start of Star Trek 6. Because this episode, the past part takes place in parallel with the events of Star Trek 6.
So wait, was he human in the original, or was he? And then they retconned him to Tuvok, or
no? He was human in Generations, but that he
Yeah.
wasn't
it's
Tuvok.
called
It was just
Flashback.
Tim Russ.
It's just called Flashback.
Yeah, there was a Voyager episode called Flashback where suddenly they're writing in that Tuvok was on the Excelsior as Tuvok. He served on the Excelsior.
Mm-hmm.
So
he had to mind meld because some Vulcan neurological problem.
Yeah,
Janeway goes into his mind, doesn't he? Doesn't she? And
then Sulu all of a sudden can see them. He goes, "Oh my, Tim Russ."
Oh my.
Sulu then in that moment was probably the most badass I've ever seen him. I still remember that line, like fly her apart. Then
that part. I was I thought you meant like the part where he stands up and goes, "My God," and then like he gets wrongful stomped by a shockwave. No, yeah, that's one of the best lines there. Is like, I was so mad when we didn't get a Captain Sulu show. I was like, they were pushing for that hard for Star Trek 6, and it just never happened, and I was mad about that.
Yeah.
All right, so now here we go. Unless you guys, I mean, we kind of lumped DS9 and Voyager together because there's really not. Now we can talk about First Contact because you can barely see it.
This for me has got vibes of Enterprise when you look at it.
That guy.
Very similar, but more up to date, and you could tell that they had to make a more cinematic uniform as well. Now that they were going into movie territory. Mm-hmm. And so this is what they came up with.
It was definitely movie style, movie quality uniform. You're asking about the actor, the guy on the right.
Yeah, who played? He's the villain.
I'm trying to think. I don't want to look
it
up.
Hawk.
Yeah.
Well, that was the character
Lieutenant
name
Hawk,
was Hawk. Yeah, Lieutenant Hawk. But the actor's name.
What is his name?
He's been in CW universe as
he was on like Arrow.
He played Damien Dark in Flash Arrow.
Yeah.
He was in Walking. He was in Walking Tall with the Rock.
That's a complete tangent.
Yeah,
don't look it up.
He was in Yellow. He's been in Yellowstone. Yeah, he's been in so many things, man. Like
don't look it up. Let me think.
Okay, so I mean, these uniforms. You're right; they're more cinematic, and they're
Neil McDonald.
Yes, Neil McDonald.
I would never have got that. I'm glad you said that.
I kept on wanting to say Neil Patrick Harris, but I'm like, no, I know who. That's Doogie Howser. I know who that is.
I was going to say
Dr. Horrible. I know who that is.
So these uniforms were good.
They were. And I'm glad they transitioned them over to DS9.
They're good, but looking at them now, like over 20 years later, they look a bit dated now. But I guess
they're dark.
They match the aesthetic of the dark.
This movie was like that. 22 years ago.
Yeah. But it does match the aesthetic of the bridge all being fucking low light and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
It fits Patrick Stewart really well, but it doesn't look great. It doesn't look great on Riker whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Looks great on Picard.
It looks great on Picard. It fits him perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, they're using that fucking budget. When you see this movie, you think, yeah, now the budget's being used for fuck's sake.
Yeah. All right, so I guess next, what is next? I guess next would be the Picard era, right?
Yeah, Picard era.
No. Lower Decks.
Lower Decks.
Right. Technically, yes. Lower Decks is chronologically the next one.
Ooh, and here's a good picture for it.
Have you got a live action of Boimler
the crossover.
Mariner?
No, I got a better one.
What? When is season 5 coming out?
next week.
Next week.
Isn't it?
I wish.
I think it's
Give
in
me a
the
reason to use my
fall?
Paramount subscription.
Oh yeah, I already canceled my Paramount subscription. I until they have new Trek, I'm not re
Yeah,
By the
upping.
way,
I might.
Jerry
Well, there's
O'Connell
old
looks
Trek I want to
Hey,
fantastic.
watch.
can you guys excuse me just for a second? I've got to get something real quick. Be right back.
Sure.
No problem. Well, Jerry O'Connell
Jack
looks like
Quaid's
a
looking good
natural, by
right
the
there.
way.
Yeah.
Jack Quaid looks great.
I love the
never realized
hair on
I love the purple hair.
like they made it look a little bit more
old
normal
O'Connell
for the Strange New
And
Worlds episode, but
I like how they've changed the uniforms between, like, if this was a live action show, this would be a good change from the Voyager and DS9 era to something fresh and new.
yeah,
Where you've
but
got the
this
black on
is
top and the red and blue on the bottom.
yeah,
I
but
like
this is where they get into the problem about like there's too many uniforms. You know what I mean?
Well, isn't there an excuse now where they're just like every ship can just decide whatever the heck they want?
It's possible. I mean, there could be more of a as long as it's a Starfleet sanctioned uniform. I mean, but and I mean, some people I think the in-universe explanation is that the Cerritos is more of a support ship, so that's why they have these uniforms. But
Is
yet
this
if
the
you
same-
go to the Titan on lower decks, they have if you go to
Don't they have the
they have the
movie
gray ones. Yeah,
uniforms
that's
we were
even
just
on the
looking
Titan
at?
during lower decks, they still have the gray shouldered ones. So
It's
yeah,
the
I
same,
mean,
it's the same uniform as Major Rage.
yes, Major Rage has the lower decks one that he always wears.
I mean, I nothing against him personally, but I think it looks good on him. But looking at it here, I'm not a fan
I
of
wish
it
they would
personally.
give us more Titan with Riker on lower decks.
Yeah,
it looks like a big fucking slash mark going down the fucking middle of it. Don't like it.
Anything to add, Jefferson?
On the lower decks uniforms, no, I mean not really.
But looking at Jerry O'Connell, I mean, man, that guy should be doing live action Star Trek. He looks great.
Yes, I do agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Oh,
for sure.
That's funny.
All right, now I'm going to bring up the next ones if you guys are ready for it. I mean, lower decks is a good callback to the old old style uniforms, but as I said, there's getting to be too many at this point, and it kind of bugs me that there's so many different uniforms.
70-year staple.
Yeah, well, and and I mean, even the in-universe is, oh well, each ship can kind of choose what they're, as long as it's Starfleet sanctioned, they can kind of choose what they want to wear. It's kind of like, no, that's still bad. I don't like that. Like I like, as much as I'm not a huge fan of the Monster Maroons. I do like them, but I'm not a huge fan of them. At least they were uniform, So
the Picard era is when I want to go back to that point I was making about Monster Maroons.
All right, well, here we go. Here we are, Picard era.
All right, so
wow.
In the Picard era, we have
shoulders.
We have these uniforms.
Why are you?
Ooh.
And then, so this is season 1. We have these uniforms. By season 3, we have different uniforms again.
Yep.
In season 3, there was a flashback with Riker at a bar with Picard.
And in a different uniform.
Riker was in a different uniform then. So this is the problem that I've got once we get into the TNG DS9 Voyager era and then up after that. Starfleet goes from having a uniform for 70 years. Personally, I kind of think that 70 years was a bit long.
I just think
having one style of uniforms, but what they're doing here, because you had the 70-year Monster Maroons, which I think is a bit long, it clashes with the next era where you're changing uniforms every 2 years in Starfleet.
When did replicators come around?
Somewhere in between.
Approximately.
Well, we saw them in Discovery.
Because they weren't replicating the Monster Maroons, but these, they could just replicate whatever ship-wide. They could just replicate all new styles.
Well, we saw a replicator replicated uniform in Discovery, and that's the 2250s.
Yeah, but I don't think the actual there was replimats, I think is what they were called.
Is that because Discovery was
Burnham replicated a
Discovery?
uniform. Yeah, Discovery was being Discovery.
Yeah,
Discovery was being Discovery.
I really don't like those uniforms, by the way. Everything about it just seems minimalistic.
Yeah,
you know,
I don't
just
like
a red on top of yellow.
Picard's shoulder right there. It's like hiked up. I don't like
it. Can't stand it. It's awful. I'm glad it was so
used. Would have been better for them to bring back the Voyager DS9 era.
Well, but the problem with that is that you're talking about in this scene, you're talking about a good 15-year spread from the Voyager time to right here. Okay, so 2401, let's say 2399, 2400 ish is when we have Picard season 1. Voyager got back to Earth in, I don't remember, 2380 something. So 10 years is a little long in the tooth when you're considering how often they change uniforms here as opposed to when they use the Monster Maroons for so long.
I feel like you can explain the changing it more often on the replicators.
Yeah. I don't know. As I said, I don't like it that it's kind of like in healthcare with scrubs. It's like, some places make you wear a certain color if you're a certain department, and then other places just let you wear wherever the heck you you could wear some with Mickey Mouse on it. You could wear some with the Grinch on it at Christmas time. You know what I mean? So it's like that. That's kind of what that screams to me. And it's like, not that I feel like my work needs to, enforce dress code, but it's just this is more of a Navy-ish military, more of a military than a healthcare facility, at least we hope. So
well, do we have anyone in here that either has been or knows I know someone that's in the military, but I can't ask them right now, but how often do we change our uniforms in the military? I don't think it's too terribly often.
No, not really. They might make some major change or some minor changes to it.
Yeah, if you look at dress blues from World War II to now, they're pretty similar.
But the whole point about, I'm just comparing this to sports. It's so they can make sales. Is that correct? That's why they're constantly changing the uniform. So fans like you and me would go out there.
But I don't think Star Trek
for Voyager DS9 era, sure, but for this is just we want to look different because we're further along in the timeline.
Because we should.
Yeah, and the thing is that Star Trek doesn't really sell official uniform. Normally you got to go to China or Vietnam or something like that to get this uniform came from over in the Far East.
Mine came from my China. Arm, it's definitely not quality.
Now, if I wanted to pay almost triple the price what I did, I could have got one that might have probably came from the US, but so yeah, if you want to try to save a little money, you're getting it from China.
But my thing is that I don't think they sell official Starfleet uniforms on Paramount's website or anything like that, do they?
No,
I've never looked.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Paramount has been so lazy on merchandising that it's sad. Just they that's a whole other discussion, but
they do actually. You're right, Jefferson, because honestly, when it comes to Star Trek, they have a gold mine and they don't realize. They really don't realize it. It's ridiculous.
They don't use it.
Jefferson, just to answer your question with the replicators, they are considered a 24th century advancement. So that's literally just Discovery being Discovery. Or maybe they transported it from a cargo bay or so. I don't know.
Man, it was in Burnham's quarters when she replicated her uniform. So
I do remember that now. It's Discovery being Discovery.
Yes,
so
that's what it is.
Let's call a spade here.
Yep.
Let's call a Discovery a Discovery. All right, so we have those. I don't really want to go through all the start, like, because honestly, like,
let's lump all Picards together.
Yeah, Picard. Like, I think season 3s actually were closer to like
Season
the
3 were the
DS9
jackets,
Voyager
though.
type, because they had like
jackets.
well, and then they
Let's
have
see Shaw in his jacket.
Okay, let's see Shaw in this jacket. Hold on, you
I'm
guys.
Didn't Riker and Picard also have jackets?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
They
once they went rogue, like they all got leather jackets. They actually mentioned that in like some kind of commentary or something. They're like, "Oh yeah, once we went rogue, we all got our leather jackets on, and we were badasses."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I didn't even notice, but that's good for them.
I'm feeling pretty badass in my jacket, if I can say.
Mm-hmm. It looks badass.
Yeah, I mean, not badass like Shaft, but I mean, I'm feeling pretty good.
I am expecting Lower Decks to make a play on that, by the way, with the black leather jackets and
oh yeah, Boimler replicating one, thinking he's so cool, and it looks horrible.
God, I hope not.
So this is the first image that I found that, I mean, you can kind of barely see it, but I think Jefferson, we can see yours really good too. So maybe we should just bring you up as the main.
Yeah,
there we go. There we go.
I'm in the lights. I got the lights on me. So yeah,
your one's got some thriller vibes on it as well, by the way.
Now my pips haven't come in yet from Etsy, so I apologize for not having those on.
It's okay. We'll just take you as a crewman. That's okay.
Yeah. What's that?
Does the communicator work?
No, unfortunately, no.
So the jackets are cool. Like it's kind of like Star Trek Beyond. Like they had those those jacket-y type, away mission uniforms that they had on. So I mean, I thought it was fine. It didn't blow my mind.
It feels a bit weird.
The leather jackets didn't?
No, not really.
What would make you happy? That's my question for you. If you didn't like these nice leather jackets, what would make you happy?
Monster Marine died.
Oh, come on. Boo. Don't take the easy way out.
As much as I like these jackets, I almost thought there's a sense of incognito about them, but they're not, because they've got a giant fucking Starfleet badge and pips on the fucking shoulder. Feels a bit weird.
Here's the thing.
Are you being casual now and not being a Starfleet officer or whatever, but you still have to be by having your insignia on it and shit like that? Is weird.
They've done this before, though, right? They gave Picard a jacket in the middle of TNG, right?
Yeah, it had like a what was it?
Not a leather jacket, but
yeah, it had like the gray shirt, and then like it had like a felt.
Yeah, I remember.
Jacket.
But did the jacket itself have the insignia on it, or was it still on his shirt?
No, I think it was on. I think it was on his shirt.
He was wearing a gray shirt.
It was on the jacket, unless he wasn't wearing the jacket. Then it was on the shirt.
Yeah, it was on the jacket. That's what I meant. Sorry.
He like moved it. The thing I like about
leather black.
The thing I like about these leather jackets is you take the pips off, take the comm badge off. I can go to Kroger, walking around, and just be like, "Yeah, that's just my jacket." It doesn't feel like you're out cosplaying. Not like the time I had to go there. I was in my full DS9 uniform. That was unexpected. There was an emergency that came up. I did not have time to change. I was on a live stream, and it was just like, I'm going to the store wearing my uniform.
Well,
I'd almost went to my boxers.
Well, I went on 2 occasions. I went to a fancy dress party as Indiana Jones, and it was such a cool outfit to wear because it's just a leather jacket and khaki trousers and boots. Put the hat on, you're Indiana Jones. Take that hat off, you just look like a normal fucking dude. Yeah. So yeah, it was the perfect fucking outfit.
Yep. All right. Any other uniforms in the? I mean, as I said, the regular uniforms, they just look like darker versions of like the Voyager and, the Voyager and DS9 uniforms. The solid color on the shoulders and then the black. So I don't know. They were just kind of all over the place. So
you got another leather jacket picture by any chance?
I mean, I can try. Oh, as I said, that's kind of like the
Seven's uniform is pretty cool to look at because it's got the red top and the black.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah,
Bottom
it's not
part.
much different though than
Yeah.
I mean, that actually just passed that one.
That
So,
that one's
Yeah.
a lot better. It feels
I
a bit
like
more
that.
traditional as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, but I don't like how dark the red is. It's like it's like a wine, dark wine
Is
red.
it
Well,
too
everything's
maroon?
dark.
Oh,
Yeah, but that's what I'm
everything's
saying.
dark
Like,
on
I
the
don't like how
T.
dark it is. I don't like.
Everything's dark on the Enterprise G.
Everything is dark.
It was
So
actually very
it has to
refreshing.
fit.
It was very refreshing in season 3 of Picard when they went on the Enterprise D, and the whole fucking bridge was lit up.
Yeah, I know, right? You
Like,
could actually see
yeah,
things.
and
Yeah, he should have
carpet and
said
shit
instead
like
of
that.
"I missed the carpet," he should have said "I missed the lighting."
Yeah.
Well,
You guys.
oh,
Go ahead.
weren't there in season 3 of Picard? And I think I keep getting it confused. Weren't there 3 different uniforms? And I'm not talking about the Riker and Picard flashback. I mean, during the season, there were the jackets, what 7 of 9 is wearing, and there was another one. I want to say that the LaForge sisters and some other people were wearing it. I could swear that there was a third
Different color.
uniform. Um,
There's always that green one at one point, back
no,
back down
not
to TNG.
different color.
Trying to. I mean, LaForge does. He has like that one that has something that looks like an apron.
Guys, we missed one.
What did we miss?
Which one's that?
Prodigy.
Oh God, no.
Let's get Prodigy.
Yeah.
But hologram Janeway looks cool in her uniform.
Yeah, but
I
it's
don't
still
like
the
the
Voyager
uniforms
uniform.
they gave the cadets.
Oh, I apologize. Riker was wearing an alternate captain's uniform.
I think I just found it. Hold on, I'm bringing it up
for most of season 3, but there weren't like 3 whole different uniforms. When I look online at like the ones you can buy, it's the brighter shoulders that kept throwing me off.
Yeah, and then Picard does have this like it's kind of like this black, like I don't want to call it a dress uniform, but
no, because he wasn't in uniform here, right?
That's the most French Patrick Stewart's ever fucking looked as a Frenchman, right there.
Okay, I thought he looked pretty French with the eye patch on, and
that's the stereotype.
I know. You know what? People hate that episode in Picard season 1. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I just thought
eye patch.
Well, the point is, if people are offended, like the point was that he was hamming it up in the first place, and he was purposely stereotyping himself with the and all that.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was great.
The same people would kick kittens. They're just people that do not want to have fun. So
yeah. There is one that I did forget really quick. I'm going to bring up. Is the white dress uniforms. I really like these from TNG Insurrection, and then also in Lower Decks.
Sure.
Show me. Remind me.
Also, didn't they wear them at the wedding?
Yes.
Of Riker and Troy.
Oh, the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it up really quick. Oh, yeah, this thing looks really good. I like that. That does not look like a good version of it though.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
I just think it looks very, very like dressy. You know what I mean? Like it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well,
you talk about naval. That's the most naval of all of them.
Yeah,
that
really
white
is.
one.
I want your guys' opinion on this set of uniforms. These are great uniforms. I call these uniforms Deanna Troy's Revenge.
I like them.
Well, yeah, I know you do. Oh. Like, would you just name this like Trekkies search the internet for uniforms?
Oh,
I cannot find, for some reason I cannot find these white uniforms. I know you guys have found them, but like I put in the search bar TNG movies Trek uniforms and
do Insurrection dress uniform.
TNG white uniform maybe
or Nemesis dress uniform.
There we go.
Do the wedding uniform.
Oh, and I forgot that they were different too.
I forgot that Wesley was there.
Yeah, he was. He was supposed. Yeah, like that's
He
kind of like one of the
was.
biggest like plot holes ever because he was supposed to be away with the what's it called?
Traveler.
Mm-hmm. He's
And-
all grown up.
Yep.
So I really like these. I dress uniform. I think they're better than the like actual TNG dress uniforms. I felt like it was a little on the nose. They're like, it's a dress and it's a uniform.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like okay,
Yeah.
it's a little on the nose, guys. Come on, like
Yeah, they're.
But yeah, those ones I do like the fact.
You know
that
what's missing? It's missing the thing that went on Picard's head.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh,
that was hilarious.
I know a lot of people hated it. I don't know why. I thought that was like that's the first
it was-
contact.
Yeah,
That's the first contact shenanigans you want to see. That's kind of like in Batman Beyond, Star Trek Beyond, where it's like, you know, like that opening sequence is like, you know, that he thinks he's talking to this big massive alien race, and then like all of a sudden it zooms out and they're like really tiny or something like that. And those are the first contact shenanigans I like.
Again, people that would kick kittens.
Yeah, those damn kitten kickers. All right, I'm not bringing up Prodigy. Forget that nonsense. I mean, those gray uniforms are so boring. Okay, so we move. I think from there, honestly, I think we moved to the 32nd century.
Mm-hmm.
Discovery season.
I think the
3?
last. Yep. Well, there is 2 versions in
Wasn't
Discovery.
there a futuristic uniform in Voyager we saw when? When it came to paranormal investigations and this one particular
temporal temporal investigation.
Temporal. Yeah. There's one guy he was investigating some sort of incident, and he realized it was his future self doing it.
Well, yeah. There's the
and there was a futuristic uniform in that episode of Voyager.
Oh, there's old Admiral Janeway there, right?
We're going to be here for 2.5 hours.
I was about to say I'm not bringing up, but those are.
And the season finale as well of Voyager had the futuristic uniform too of old Admiral Janeway.
And
absolutely
the
right.
season finale of TNG had futuristic uniforms.
Yeah, and Warp 13. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I do. Really quick, I do want to bring up the season 3 version of the Starfleet uniforms, which in season 4 would double as kind of like the DS9 uniforms, the station uniforms, because in season 3 and season 4 of Discovery, Admiral Vance and everybody pretty much on that station wear those gray uniforms, which I don't have a better picture. I'm trying to find a better picture, but that's what, you know. So I like these uniforms until they put them on like the crew of Discovery. Like that last scene of Discovery season 3 when they're all in the gray uniforms, I was like, oh, I'm like, this is not good. Not good.
I don't like that uniform on Admiral Vance right now. It looks absolutely awful.
Well, that's the one. That's the one he had on for season 3 and 4.
I can't stand it. You reminding me made me realize how much I hated
That's
it.
the uniform he wore while he was explaining that.
Well, no, I mean, I never really actually necessarily hated it then, but now we're talking about uniforms. Seeing it there, fucking hate it.
Here we go. Here's a good picture of the uniforms. Really quick. So yeah, these ones are okay on the station because they're background characters, and I'm like, whatever. But like, yeah, that when I saw them all lined up in that, I was like, oh no.
Why?
Oh,
why are you making
that's what they
one
used for
side
season
longer than the other?
4?
Why?
No, they used these. Well,
this was the last scene of season 3.
Yeah. When they realized they had
season
made
4, they have something different, right?
Yes, they do. But I'm just saying, like, but a lot of people in the 32nd century on the station wore these uniforms also. So, like, your main cast still had the Discovery season 1 and 2 uniforms on, but the background characters and the station characters all had these ones on. You can actually see Admiral Vance's uniform back there, right behind this lady, like over her shoulder.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
So, but yeah, these are the uniforms that they were in at the end of season 3, and I was
look at that one has a little bow tie.
If my jacket was uneven like that at the bottom, I think I zipped it up wrong.
I agree with you. Z. I don't like.
I can't stand.
Oh, I don't like these either. As I said, I'm just glad they're background characters and I can tune them out.
They do this all the time in Star Trek. There's like this unevenness to somehow make it seem futuristic. Like they've done that with the boxing ring in Voyager. They made it a triangle. I remember in motion picture in the 10 forward area, they had all these
triangle boxing ring. What?
Yeah,
where the rock was in a Voyager.
That was not. That wasn't a triangle. That was like a hexagon.
No. Chakotay, he was boxing in the.
That was a square ring. I remember that episode.
Yeah, it was not square. It was definitely not proper square. You know what I mean? But the point is, they do this all the time. Have a look at it. It wasn't a proper square, and they do like the coffee tables. They're like having to be a bit oblongy and shit like that. Like, why? Just make it normal. Like, for fuck's sake.
It's gotta look different.
Yeah, to make it futuristic. It's just so stupid.
I spelled Chakotay way wrong.
You got to spell it like Czech and O and then K.
Yeah.
No, I'm just joking. I have no idea how to spell it.
CHA.
No, I got it. I'm looking. I'm trying to find. God, this episode is so obscure. Like this episode's so obscure. I can't even find images from it. I'll have to look it up on. I don't have Paramount Plus.
Doesn't help that it's a Chakotay episode.
That's true. That automatically makes it.
Hey, my favorite episode of Voyager is a Chakotay episode. It's the one in season 6 where like the Voyager gets fractured in different times, and that was a great episode.
Chocolate. I don't know. I can't find it here, and I'm not searching for it anymore. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this one down. We'll go to the last stop, which will be season 4, which is honestly some of my favorite uniforms. Now, I'm not gonna lie, them going from season 3 at the end, and I saw those to season 4. Okay, wait, really quick. I'm just gonna show. This is the image. This is the image that I was like, oh my god, please stop. Like that's just awful. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that looks awful.
They look like, I don't know.
Well,
like airport maintenance workers.
Yeah.
Just like there's the allowance of it being the 60s for the TOS uniforms, you're having to deal with, okay, well, what would Starfleet uniforms look like 900 years from now? That is
Technicolor Dreamcoat.
That's got to be such a difficult thing to try to forward envision what that would look like. And you're talking about the angles, one side being longer than the others. Look at how we dress today.
Oh yeah.
Compared to any decade. I mean, and we're talking 60s, 70s, 80s, like every decade had a very stark contrast of how we dressed. And we're talking about several hundred years from now. What would we be wearing? What were we wearing 100 years in the past? And think about what would we have on 100 years from now?
I think it's all going to be like juicy sweatpants and like.
And this is season 3 of Discovery is 900 years in the future of. They went to the 32nd century. Was
so
right?
31. Yeah.
Whatever's on the thumbnail, 31
yeah,
50, 31 60.
I mean, when you look at how different our dress has been just in our history, it's like incomprehensible as to how we'd be dressed several hundred years from now. So
I just want to show you. You can just tell, that
does
from the dimensions that's a triangular boxing ring.
Yeah, but I don't think it was. I wonder if they did that for the shot.
No,
it's a shot, man. It's a triangular boxing ring.
Maybe it's like a trapezoid-ish. I don't know.
Not trapezoid. That'd be silly.
Because they want to make it all alien-y, future-y looking, so they can't make a normal boxing ring.
Hey,
Everything else about it is boxing.
Let's have a triangle boxing ring.
Yeah, like fucking shit like that drive me nuts.
Okay.
All
right. So last but not least, now that we've got the triangle ring controversy settled, These uniforms, I like these uniforms a lot. In going from all those gray, we can call those what the gray Goonies uniforms. Like
Goonies. Yeah.
Instead of the monster maroons, we got the gray Goonies uniforms. But to this, I was very thankful that they rethought their position on those uniforms.
I still don't like the insignia being up here.
Where?
Right on the collar.
Oh,
the way she's got her captain's rank right there. I'm not a fan of that. But otherwise,
the pips were always kind of up here on the collar too.
Again, 900 years in the future.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually it'll all just be like, like our names will just be above our heads, and
it should just be all programmable matter, and they'll just open their holographic comm badge and be like, "Oh, change me into a sweater."
Yeah, right. But it's like, it's going to be like an online live service game where it's like we're going to have our names above our heads, and like we're going to walk around and you can look up our information, so you can
It'll be like a little Sims thing on
like we can figure out pronouns without even asking. It'll be great.
You just click on it with your glass and say, "Oh, I know everything about them."
Yeah, exactly. So you don't have to worry about communicating with anybody ever again. You can just know everything, and then
these uniforms and the Strange New World uniforms, they have a very vibrant color scheme, like very sharp, bright colors, and it made me think that if I ever own one of those outfits, I could never maintain that level of sharpness, because one or two washes and then all of a sudden it'll start to look dull.
Oh, you got to take this to professional dry cleaning. You're not washing this at home.
Oh,
let me just tell you that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'll be
these ones you could just read on it.
I'll be too bad. Like, I don't want to eat. I couldn't eat with this shit on, because I'll be too worried the crumb or whatever. Like
God, no.
Yeah, I mean, we'll fall on
Monster Maroon's very practical. If you're eating, you just pull that thing down, and
you know how hard it is to get anything out of white.
Yeah,
yeah, but I mean, at least when you're going back, if you get something on there, you just put it right back up, and you can't even see it.
But it's still there.
It is.
It's a nice looking kit, but I'm more of a fan of the tops than the jackets when it comes to the leather jackets is in a different league, but I prefer the tops than jackets. Like this, it still feels a little bit restrictive.
Sam, you prefer bottom.
She looks like she couldn't. she couldn't swing her arm like she did back in season 1. When she's running around the Discovery.
Zam's our power bottom today.
Yes, fair enough.
So proud of you, Zam.
It's okay. Somebody has to, but yeah, it's still nice. It's a nice, vibrant colors.
Oh, you know what else you could bring up from Discovery?
Yeah.
The doctor's uniform.
Yeah, the white uniforms. Yeah.
I like those.
I thought about those after the fact, and I wasn't really going back, but I can bring.
We probably have like 2 people left watching this live stream talking about uniforms.
No, we got
these guys are nerds.
We got 7 right now.
Hi, everybody.
I'm doing my best to stay awake.
Well, we're almost done.
Almost done. I'm seeing some head bobbing.
Yeah, that's what we know. When Zam starts to bob.
What time is it?
2:20.
Ooh.
But I'm not working tomorrow, so that's why I'm joining you guys today.
So last one. There's that. And I mean, what do you guys? Oh, actually, I have 8 people watching right now. What do you guys think of the white uniforms? Because that's kind of a retcon, like having the white uniforms for.
I like it for medical.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't mind it, but it is absolutely a retcon in Discovery because, having the white there, they never had the white in TOS. And you could always explain that away as, well, by the time TOS came around. And even in the one episode where Pike jumped into the alternate future, that was, what episode was it?
Where he had the monster maroon?
Well, no, he was on the Enterprise still, and he didn't have the accident. He was in the TOS episode on the Enterprise, and Kirk was on the Farragut still. Why am I drawing a blank on the episode name?
Yeah, I know what you're talking. It was basically a.
Submarine
I don't want to call
Jamie.
it a redo, but you remember in the original series,
Yeah,
the first interaction with the Romulans.
Yeah. Well, the first interaction with the Romulan where they see them.
This was essentially how it would have gone if Pike were still captain of the Enterprise.
Wow, what is it called? I know this episode. I know the name, and I just can't think of it. But anyway, so if you notice in that episode, though, Chapel is in a blue uniform in that episode because apparently they transition over to the blue uniforms. But then they have the white uniforms in Discovery. Then they go into the future and they have the white uniforms again. It's like it's a little bit on point that they Discovery leaves and they get out of the white uniforms, and then Discovery comes back and they're in the white uniforms again. So. I just thought
you got season 3 or 4 Discovery White Doctor's uniform, but this is definitely season 1.
Yeah, it is season 1. I know. I mean, I can look up season 3. Yeah, I looked up season 1. That's what I thought he meant.
I meant the later one, but either way.
Doctor. Not medical, yeah.
Or what's the doctor's name?
Colbert.
Colbert.
Actually, I need to do season 4.
CULBER because you'll get something totally different. Yeah, CU.
You get Stephen Colbert.
Colbert. Yeah,
you're right.
Colbert guest starring season 5.
Here we go.
There it is.
That's nice.
Look at that handsome man right there.
Oh, he's very handsome.
Dude, have you seen the guy with his shirt off? If I was gay for a day, I might.
I was gay for life. Oh,
wait. Yeah. I was say, Adam, is there something you needed to tell me?
when they brought him back in season 2, and he's just walking around in a t-shirt, you could see that muscle, and then he wanted to pick a fight with that Klingon human dude. Yeah, it was all fucking.
Was that season 2 or was that season? No, season 1 he came back, but yeah, you're right. He was just kind of.
No, he came back in season 2.
No, he came back in season 1, right?
No, he came back in season 2.
Was it season 2? Okay, I thought he came back at the end of season 1.
It was the uproar because they try to. The problem with Discovery season 1 is they try to Game of Thrones it. No, Game of Thrones is Game of Thrones. Star Trek is Star Trek. Don't fucking try and be too smart because then we're going to Game of Thrones it by killing off our fucking gay characters. Yeah, clever. Yeah, so
I skipped half of Discovery season 1.
Yeah, so I'm glad they brought it.
Let's get to Pike.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. There were the Mirror Universe episodes in season 1 of Disco were really good.
Yeah, I do want to go back because,
I still hope.
And Georgiou is amazing. Empress Georgiou is just amazing. I love her.
I still want them to somehow make a Star Trek show where you got like a very lurker type captain in charge, somebody who shoots first, asks questions later. That'll be a very fascinating way to watch Star Trek, somebody like that in charge.
Yeah.
Somebody who let his troops die to get the job done. I mean,
you're describing Lord Farquaad. Some of you may die.
But that is a price I'm willing to pay.
Yeah.
So when they killed off Lorca's character, I was really gutted because I really wanted a show like that just to be different.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought there was another character. Shaw was pretty much like that. Well, he wasn't willing to let his people die, but he was very by the book and very
Shaw was by the book.
Yeah, Lorca, but he was also very short and sarcastic with people, which is what Lorca was too. So
Lorca was like that, but he was that to people who he thought was rebellious. Like the TNG crew who were breaking the rules all the fucking time, which is why he had a disdain for them.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up, guys. Got anything else to say about uniforms? I mean, we went through them all and even some extras. All right, you guys ready? We're going to start going through Stargate, all the Stargate uniforms. You ready?
No.
All the Doctor Who, all the Doctor Who uniform.
There's not many Doctor Who uniforms.
I mean, just like all the different clothing.
The costumes. We could be here for days.
Yeah.
So, no, but
my studio lights are getting a little hot. So
yeah, right.
Go for all the Arsenal kits. All the different uniforms and shirts they wear.
This was a fun one.
Yeah. What's okay? Really quick, we're gonna go around. What is your favorite type of uniform though? Like favorite. So,
Oh,
Are you talking about which series?
like just like just which uniform, like that we talked about today. Like not specifically, but like TOS, uniforms or Enterprise uniforms or DS9 Voyager uniforms. I've got to say, after going through all these, I really think that Enterprise is my favorite. I really do. I maybe Strange New Worlds or Discovery Season 2 TOS versions, maybe, but I really feel like, or Discovery Season 4. But yeah, Enterprise kind of edges them out for me. I like them.
I think I think for me, I'm going to go ahead and say the leather jackets in Picard season 3. And it's not because I got one.
Well, you got one probably because it's one of your favorites.
Well, that and actually later this fall there is a fan film that I'm going to be going down to be a part of in down in Atlanta, and this was what I was requested to get was a season 3 red Picard uniform. But even before I got it, I immediately liked the leather jacket thing because it was just something very new that we hadn't seen in Star Trek, like kind of that biker, but your Starfleet officer look.
We're rebels.
Yeah.
Ensign Adam.
I gotta go with either the Monster Maroon or Voyager.
Okay. Zamo.
I did say earlier that when it came to comfortability, I'll definitely go with the Enterprise outfits because they seem very easy to slip into and all of that. But I do like the latter seasons of Strange New Worlds. Those shirts look very vibrant. They look very colorful. They look very Star Trek like. They tick a lot of boxes, modernized everything. So yeah, I'm between those two. So, but that's where I stand.
Okay. All right, everybody. Well, I want to thank everybody who joined us here. Sorry, went a little long today, but I mean, there's a lot of freaking uniforms. So I really appreciate you guys being here. Jefferson, we have Jefferson from Beyond Trek podcast on here. His information is linked down below, so you can go check out his Beyond Trek podcast over there. Ensign Adam, thank you very much for joining us again for the discussion. Love having you here. And Zamo, I mean, I'm glad that you took a break from emptying your colon to be here. So,
well, it makes a change. And on top of that, please check out Adam as he eats all the British snacks you can imagine that's on this channel. This guy is a human vacuum cleaner.
Wow.
I don't know if I like that description.
I think Mike likes it.
Thanks for having me on
I don't
again.
feel like that can put it out.
I like doing these things with you guys. I like being a regular on NerdTube. So yeah, looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, I have no idea which one we're going to do next. So we'll talk about that.
I think we need to pick Gene Roddenberry apart.
We actually already
we can roast.
Roast him for a whole episode. That might be sacrilege. I mean, I'll do little pot shots.
We have a
he's the Jesus of Star Trek. You got to watch it.
We have a I think we have a highly illogical like a long time ago that was called Remembering Gene Roddenberry, and we respectfully pick him apart where we're like, yeah, Gene was not exactly the greatest person in the world. Like he created Star Trek, but he wasn't great. So I mean, maybe check that out. But yeah, if you guys want to do like a updated with.
Nobody is above criticism.
He was all for progression, but he was also very much into titillation, like we all are.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about it. And as I said, if enough people will, if enough new, because I think me and Uzam, and I think somebody else was there for that one. Maybe I don't remember who was on it. I'll have to look. It's been so long since we did that one, but I'm willing to revisit it, and I'm okay with that. Like I do have my criticisms of Gene Roddenberry.
We could pick apart Rick Berman.
Oh God, that would be another 2-hour stream. Like what?
No, because we staunchly defended. Well, I say we, just myself and and Cheeto, Alec Kurtzman, who was getting a lot of shit, and rightfully so at the beginning of his era, but I do feel he steadied the ship but by listening to criticism for a start. And now we've got an abundance of Star Trek coming out, which is great. I do think the world is dried up a little bit, so I can't wait for the next show. But yeah, he's done a good job. I mean, it's hard to find somebody who would do a better job.
And also, we have that video where we say, "Does Alex Kurtzman deserve your hate?" That's another video that's here on NerdTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, throw some ideas together. Thanks, guys.
Huh?
I said, yeah, we'll have to throw some ideas together in our Facebook chat.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So anyway, with all that being said, everybody, thank you very much for being here. If you stayed through this whole thing, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Put donkey brains in the comments. You might win a prize, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe we'll send you pictures of Zam's leg hair. Maybe we'll have to figure that out. With all that being said, we will catch you guys in the next one. Catch you later.